Imagine this. You're a parent, you drop your nonverbal autistic son off at daycare. Every day they send you a photo. He's smiling, he's playing, everything looks really fine. But behind that camera, your son is being strapped to a high chair for 6 hours straight. He's being force fed until he vomits, splashed with cold water just for the carer's amusement, yanked by the arms, pinned down, pinched, left bruised, and when he throws up, they shove his head into a bin. That's exactly what happened under the leadership of a man named Thomas Fanos. And today I'm going to show you how the same man has ended up working inside the NDIS system, and why this is not just a scandal. It's a systematic failure, a failure of trust, a failure of regulation, and a failure that could be putting thousands of other participants at risk. It's a contrast between what appears safe and what's actually happening. When you see a smiling child at daycare, you assume they're safe, that the adults around them are trained, ethical, loving. That's somewhere in our system. Somebody is checking, auditing, regulating. That's the illusion. Because when you peel back the surface, what you'll find is disturbing. Thomas Fanos ran a chain of childcare centres in New South Wales called Jumpstart. Over nearly 10 years, these centres repeatedly failed safety benchmarks. Staff were poorly trained, children were mistreated, and parents were kept in the dark. The most extreme cases come to light in 2021 when staff were convicted of physical abuse. One worker, Amara, was convicted of 7 separate offences. 7 separate offences. She slammed a 2-year-old into a bench. She held children down, covered their mouths, and splashed them with water, just for her fun. She was fined $38,000, and the centre itself was fined just a little bit over $186,000. And Jumpstart was shut down in 2022. But here is what the part will actually stop you cold. After that centre was closed, after the children were harmed, after the headlines, Thomas simply moved into a new industry. He created a business called TF Disability Services, which later operated as Prime Support Services Australia. And he began offering supports to vulnerable NDIS participants. Yeah, let that sink in. A man who ran a business where children were restrained, force-fed, and injured was now promoting himself as a provider of daily living support to people with disabilities. Imagine being the mother of one of those children. Imagining opening Facebook and suddenly seeing an ad for Prime Support Services. The man who oversaw your children's abuse now offering help to other vulnerable people. That mother, her name is Jane, said, "Every day I got a photo of my son smiling, but it was all fake." He was only let out of the high chair for the photos, and later she said, "I can't express the anger I felt when I found out that he was working in the NDIS. He already hurt my disabled son, and he was now working with more vulnerable people." This isn't about one bad man. This is about a system that had every single warning sign in front of it, and still let him in. And if you're watching this thinking, how would I even know if my provider is legit? That's the problem. It isn't. Because most participants don't even know. Not because they're careless. Because nobody has given them the tools to ask the right questions. So let's break this down. The NDIS Quality and Safeguards Commission is meant to be a watchdog. Their job is to regulate providers, investigate complaints, and remove unsafe operators. But here is where the first loophole appears. If you're not directly providing the support yourself, and if you're just running a consultancy or a broker or a connection service, you actually don't need to register. That's the loophole Thomas used. His new business didn't directly deliver supports. It connected participants with others for a fee. So technically, he wasn't breaching the rules. He was just exploiting them. And unless you were looking very, very closely, you wouldn't even know who was behind the website. Fake reviews were listed from his wife Sally and other family members. Their website says, "We are committed to assisting you and your family." Just when you see that, it makes you sick. And what it didn't say, "We ran a childcare centre where kids were tied up, thrown, and terrorized. And it took ABC investigation, a Four Corners episode, and public outrage before the commission issued a permanent ban in April 24, 2025. The statement read, permanent banning orders are issued for the most serious cases of non-compliance, where provider or worker is deemed unsuitable. But here is the question no one in the government has even answered. Why wasn't he banned in 2022? Why did it take 2 years, multiple victims, and a media scandal? It got to the point, a media scandal, to act. And how many others are like him out there, unregistered, unchecked, and operating right now? Here is what most people don't know. There are three main types of people working in the NDIS system: registered providers, audited, checked, and they should be compliant. Now, there are a lot of bad eggs in registered providers as well. Unregistered providers, well, they're legal, but very lightly regulated, often used if you're plan managed or even self-managed. This allows a lot more people to use choice and control to find services that they want and need. The next one is brokers or consultants who don't deliver direct services, but they connect you with others. And category 3, the brokers are completely invisible to the system. No audits, no registration, no red flags, and that's exactly where people like Thomas slipped in. Think of it like this. Imagine you're flying on a plane and you assume that the pilot is licensed. The plane has been inspected. There are safety checks, maintenance logs, protocols. Now imagine that you find out that the person in charge isn't even flying the plane. They're just selling you the ticket on the plane. No training, no responsibility, and no oversight. That is where these broker style providers are doing. They operate under the radar. And you, well, the participant, the parent, the carer, are the ones that are left unprotected. As somebody who has worked in this space, who has supported families, carers, and participants through some of the most confusing, disempowering parts of the system, this story really does cut deep. Because it's not just about one family being failed. It's not about one child being hurt. It's the entire system pretending that paperwork equals perfection. And it doesn't. The system is full of cracks. And if we don't talk about it, if we don't educate participants and families about how it really works, then people like Thomas will keep finding ways to sneak back in. That's why I have started Strong Foundation Support. Not to provide coordination, not to sell services, but to be on your side, to mentor you, to educate you, to help you speak up and get clarity and avoid being taken advantage of. If this story has left you thinking, how do I protect myself or even my child? That's exactly where I come in to help. Use the link below in the description to book a free 15-minute call. That way we can figure out if I can help you. No pressure, no forms, just a safe conversation about what you need and how I can help. It's easy to look at a case like this and feel powerless, but we're not powerless. We just need to stop pretending that the system is working as it should. So here's what I believe that needs to happen right now to protect every single participant in the country. Anybody running a business that touches NDIS, even if they don't provide direct support, should be required to register. No more connection services flying under the radar. And if you're charging fees for anything inside NDIS system, you must be held accountable. Right now, the childcare regulators and the NDIS Commission operate pretty much in silos. That's how Thomas went from childcare bans to disability access without even being flagged. We need a national misconduct database covering aged care, disability, education, and child protection. If somebody harms children in one sector, they shouldn't be allowed near vulnerable people in any other. Parents, participants deserve to know who owns a company as well, what their history is, and if they've ever been involved in misconduct, closures, or even complaints. Transparency is the foundation of trust. You can't make safe choices when the truth is hidden behind ABNs and rebranded websites. So if you're an NDIS participant or a parent of a child with a disability or somebody who just cares about what's right, I want you to hear this. You are not crazy. You are not overacting. And you are not alone. So here's what you can do right now. You can book a free 15-minute call If you want help understanding your plan, choosing the right providers, or just talking through your options, click the link in the description. It's free. It is free, 100% free, 15-minute call with me. You don't need to prepare anything. Just bring your story and I'll meet you where you are.